At the beginning of this, we'd like you to drink to the past and the present, to the path that began and continues. Saatuja, Sanoja. Okay? Saatuja, Sanoja.
Lappalainen, laiha poika, päälle vanhan Väinämöisen.
Kalevala is a book from Elias Lönnrot. And what he did is he compiled an epic out of the stories and songs of the people.
He found villages of singers, people who knew thousands and thousands of lines of this epic poetry. He collected all of these things and then he put it together into one whole collection. And he's going from the oral tradition to the literate tradition, and I'm going the other way. So I find ourselves meeting in opposite directions sometimes. I often think, I wonder what would Lönnrot do?
We try to find different ways to go near this heart of stories. And when Nick comes with us, I think that we find a new way to understand these Kalevala texts.
And he walked and walked until he came to a birch tree. And he called to the beautiful birch tree, "Have you the wood to make a vessel? Have you the timber to make a keel?"
It's kind of magical when you converse with music and singing and stories, and you improvise, and then you realize that this was a whole world that was created, and we didn't know beforehand that it's going to be this kind of world. And this is what happens with this group, that this other world comes alive.
Väinämöinen said, "I seek 3 spells from the island of the dead, one for the keel, one for the prow, and one for the planks." The stumpy daughter of death said, "If I bring you here, there will be no going back." Väinämöinen would not be turned, so the stumpy daughter of death crossed the inky waters that ran from her oars. Väinämöinen stepped in, and as she rowed him back, she began to sing. She sang a song until his eyelids grew heavy. She sang him into a deep, lifeless sleep.
It's a very challenging thing to do, to take something that is so embedded in a tradition that is about making community and intimacy and something that happens in ordinary life, and putting it on a stage in a way that transfers across what can be seen as quite a big gap between these performers on a big stage and this audience coming to experience something. I feel that the performers, the artists, the musicians, the storyteller, Nick, in this circumstance work with these materials in such a way that the audience is brought into the space and has a feeling of that kind of intimacy.
It's really interesting to have a producer. This is not a very usual situation in Finland, and it's been a pleasure to work with Adverse Camber, because it's the first time I have a producer, or we have a producer who is involved in the process so much. So for me, it has been a surprising element, and I think it's evolving. The work is evolving all the time.
It's good that we can trust that there is someone who is looking the whole picture and commenting and having conversations. Maybe that's the main thing, that there is someone to have conversations who was not actively performing there. So it's easier to reflect at what happened.
I sometimes think the story isn't the most important thing. I mean, obviously it's essential, but it's not the primary thing. The primary thing is the moment of telling it, the moment of bringing people in together to share in one moment. Sometimes it's only a second, or sometimes it's a whole hour, but it's to bring people in, to be part of that whole process, and to be involved in the event. And Adverse Camber has a perspective that I just cannot have as a performer. Adverse Cambers is with the connections in this world, how we bring people in, see this, facilitate that, and then also, you know, that perception, that view of the big project, and helping make that event, the performance, as good as it can be, the very best that it can be.
Kuule minua karhu. Hear me bear. In your dreams, you will have me. Your dreams will make me true. I will have your strength.
Thoroughly enjoyed, yeah, really good, really fantastic sound effects that they kind of made with their voices and dances, yeah.
I was entertained and transported, shocked and frightened and mesmerised.
The singing is amazing. It's just a counterpoint to the stories and really builds the anticipation.
And the bear section at the end was really good. Some of the noises they were making, I have no idea how they did it.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, so I remember these stories from school, but actually this is far more interesting. We did boring assemblies, and this is a fantastic, absolutely love it.